Hey guys, so today we'll be talking about the navigation with template package. Okay, so if you haven't seen already this part where we basically implemented the template block, the set management of this package, please go and see the part one. Otherwise, we can continue. Um, okay, so let's say we want to navigate to our second page, right? And we basically have only one, and so we will do it in this way. In order to be clean, we will create a directory only for navigation. So say navigation, okay, and here we will have our navigation files. But before going and create a navigation file, Dart file, let's go and actually create the second page. Okay, so we will do that by basically creating same things as we have created here. So I don't want to repeat myself, and I will basically we will need to create this everything in all of our pages if has some kind of logic, but just for the sake of this video I will only create a page where we can navigate to. Okay, so let me go and actually create the second page. Let's say we'll create a directory first, let's say second, okay, and I will say inside Dart second page. Okay, and we'll have a stateless or stateful widget depending on your requirements. Okay, and page. Okay, and I want here to import this, and also I want to have a scaffold for body and center. I want to display something so I can see, and I'll say child text and second page. Okay, and we now have the second page, and the question would be, how do we navigate from our home page to our second page? Well, we need to create our file which will allow us to do that, and we'll create a new in navigation folder. We'll create a Dart file, and we'll say navigate to second page. Okay, and here we'll have a class and say navigate to second page. Okay, and it will stand something called base block primary base block primary state. Okay, so once we extend this, we will have one single method here. Okay, and in this single method, guys, we will receive something called build context. Everyone knows about this guy. Okay, so don't worry about how is this called, how it's gonna get called. This is gonna be managed by something. If you are calling this page from the block, this will be managed automatically, and I'll show you how it works. What do we want to do here now? Now that we have this method and this class, we can do one thing. So we can actually do navigator.of context, which everyone is familiar with, and we want to say push, and we'll say material root. Okay, and here our common stuff, context. Okay, and here we will have returning our second page. Okay, and that was simple as that. Now let's actually see how do we actually use this navigation. Now we have this class, right, and we are basically in our home block. Let's create a button. Okay, and we will have something similar to whatever we have there. put some space, size box, height 10. Okay, and I put another button, and I will say navigate to second. Okay, and if I run this, I want to remove this part. Okay, and if I run this, let's see how long it takes to run it. So basically what happens here, I will basically call a new event in the block, and then based on that event we'll actually decide if we want to navigate. Right now it's only a comment. I already show you how to actually send an event back to send an event to the block, and this is the example. In this case we will need to create a new event, right? So I will still the same, say block.event.add, and in this case, because I want to have something different, we'll go here and we'll create a specific one for our navigation. So we'll say navigate to, so let's call it like a second button tap. Okay, so once I have the second button tap, I don't need parameters here, but you can have any type of parameters. So we'll go back to the page, and then we'll call this event, right? Once we call this event, we will go in the block and we will do a check. So we check in this method, say on the UI data change, right? So say if the event is a second button tap, we want to do something, and to show you that actually works, we'll actually put a toast and say on top. Okay, so if I run this and I click this, we have this little toast, right? Basically our event is coming to the block. Okay, so let's be clean and put this in a method, say second tap. Okay, right, so we have now our method that executes when the user taps that. Okay, so I want to navigate to the second page. How would I do that, right? So we have created that navigation page. Here in the block we have something called sync state, right? So if I do sync state and I add an event to it, like a primary state, it only accepts the primary state. So say primary base block primary state only accepts whoever is extracting this, only accepts subclasses of this, right? So, and because we have our navigation which extends our base block primary state, we can then pass it to our sync state. Okay, just need to import it. Okay, and only by calling this part we can actually navigate. You see, so we are now into the second page. Okay, so it's actually that easy. Right, let's say tomorrow you want to use this navigation page from an actual widget, but not from the block. How do we go? So the thing will be easy. You just let's say in this button, which right now is the button, doesn't do anything, right? So if I want to navigate there, how will I go? I will just have this navigation page. Will I import everything? I will show you one thing. If I call this class, nothing happened. Okay, so you need to do one thing. You need to actually create a class and then call this method in it by saying call context. You pass the context, okay, and then when you click, you'll be going to the next page. You can also do it this way as well, right? Okay, you can do it probably. There was another way, you just call, right? Or maybe is that, yeah, you can do it this one as well. Like you call the class and then you create it, and then you pass that call this method like this. Okay guys, so this is for the navigation. We're almost there. I want to also show something else to you. You can pass any type of parameters to this thing. Like you can pass a function, a callback, or a string, anything. So let's say you want to have a good thing here, like final string some data, right? And what do? We create the constructor, right? And in the constructor, then we have this data, and we can pass it to the second page, okay? And we can pass it here, and probably you already know how does it work by passing parameters directly to the new page. But I want to show you with actual how to pass it directly in the constructor of the block that we will have for this second page. So one thing here, we can pass some data as we've seen, right? And let's actually go and create the block for the second page, and we'll show you how we can actually pass directly the data to our second page directly in the block without calling constructing one block and then injecting stuff into it. We'll be injecting directly into the constructor. That's the most easy way to do inject things. Okay, so let's actually go there, and so we have our page, okay, which will convert into stateful, for then convert it for our base widget, okay. And remember how to do that, to do here as well, base state, and then we want to have the base block, okay. We'll delete this part, and then we'll extract the constructor, okay. And want to add the key, and here we go. We have our second page, and we are extending the base widget. What we'll have now, block, so say a dart second block, okay. And we have a class, and then second block extends template block, remember that, okay. And here we have one important method which is on UI data change, okay. So let's see how do we go about this. Now we can see here that the second page wants a block and wants actually a function that creates a block. So we have the second block, right? And about analytics stuff, I already told you in the previous video. We will have a common object that will be used across the application, but for now we'll have, just for the sake of explaining how to pass these things around, we'll show you a simple way. So we'll have analytics, I'll just copy these analytics, okay, analytics proxy, and here will be false, and here is gonna be an empty list. Okay, now we are here and we have access to our second block, right? And in here we want to pass some kind of data, and we said that we want to have that some data that is coming from the other page, and we will do this way, right? And here we'll pass our some data, okay. Here we go, we have the data, and here we can do something with our data in the constructor or wherever we want to be here, okay. Let's start the page and actually see how that works. So I run this, go to second page, and this is the second page. Let's see if we can pass the data. So as soon as we get to the second page, I want to update our page directly, okay, with that specific data. How do I do that? So I will create you already seen that in the previous video. Final stream controller. Okay, my some data state, okay, equal to stream controller. I don't know why is this not giving me my stream controllers. So in order to pass some data, I want to declare a type here, and what do you should do here is like the state, what type of state we want to send to our page. So I have a Dart file, second state, okay, and we'll have an event as well, but in this case we don't need it. So we have a second state, and we want to have, let's call class second state data state. You know, it's like second state, let's call it like this, some data, and I will call it data state because this is like a convention, okay, stands and base block data state, okay. Right, so what do we want to send back? What do we want to send to our UI? We want to have a string here, so I'll put my text, okay, and create a constructor final, and this will allow me to do this, okay. So in here I want to put a type because I'm declaring this, and usually we'll have like a warning here. Just to remind you, you need to do it like so. You need to dispose whatever you have registered, right? So close, remember this, whatever you have created here you need to dispose, and you also need to register. We have a method for in our template block which will say allow us to register our streams. So in this case we'll have stream, some data state, and we'll pass the stream, okay. So when we come to this block, right, we'll have some data coming from the other page, and just in the constructor, because I want to display it directly, I will do init, just to be clean, and void init, and I will put my data. How do we send data to our UI? So I'll use this controller and add, and remember you need to use the same object type, and I want to pass our data, okay, because we have created our field. We can pass anything, guys, there, right? So when you do this, when you call that on the init, when the page is created, we will send a state to our page, and we want to have our page listening to that, okay. So we'll start this in a method, say some data on data, okay, widget, okay, and now I want to have here a widget, and I want to convert this to block, okay, and here I want to actually listen to our block, right? So how do we listen to our block? We need to show our block to our widget that we want to listen to actually a specific data state type, right? So get stream of type, and then I will pass the type that we have created. We'll import that. This is also important, sync snapshot, and I pass the type there and build context here, okay. So in case our we need to do a check, so say if snapshot the data is equal to null, and you want to return something, a loader or anything. In my case, will be an empty string. In another case, I will actually want to return our data, right? So I'll put text and here like this. Okay, so let's try this out. Now when I come to this page, I want to pass whatever I get from the first page. Navigate to the second page, and we have some data. And to prove you that it's actually that one, I can do, this is not the navigation on the first page, and I navigate and I pass some data. I say this is the data from my first page. Okay, I run this from the beginning, and then I navigate to second, and here is where we have the data passed directly there. You see, there is no complications of creating the block, injecting the data, and then doing extra stuff. It's like that simple. Call the navigation state, you pass some data, inside. Sorry, this is like so you call the navigation state, you pass some data, you are passing it directly to the block. You don't pass it to the widget, to the page, or to the widget. You pass it directly to the block. The whatever the block once initialized, you can do some perform like fetch things from the back end, do whatever you want, some calculations, and then update the UI directly. Okay, remember that the UI needs to be listening to the specific data state type that you have declared here and registered here. Remember also to close it. Yeah, mainly that's all, guys, about the navigation. There are some other stuff which I will show you in the other next video on how do we inject, how is the use the dependency injection with a template package. But for now, that's all. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the part 3. Thank you.